Hello to my beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel. Hello to my beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro Cheryl. And this is your monthly forecast for April 2026. Okay, there's a lot happening here in Aries. So keep your head on. A lot of heat is happening out here. Okay, so we're going to start with the full moon in Libra, which is opposite of Aries. And it's called the pink moon. It'll be at 12 degrees of Libra, and it will be Pacific Standard Time, 7:11 p.m. Okay? This is fiery cardinal energy, leadership energy, initiation energy. Okay, the energy is hot, forward moving, and aggressive. So beware. Okay, you may feel the heat already. The month starts out with the sun in Aries and Mars meeting Neptune and Saturn in Aries this month as well. Okay, the new moon on the 17th is 27 degrees of Aries at 4:51 a.m. and it forms a powerful stellium. And this is just a parade of planets in the sign of Aries, somewhere in one of your houses. Just depend on where the rising sign is for you. Okay, so we have Neptune, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, the Sun, Moon, and the wounded healer Chiron in Aries as well, conjuncting Aries. So there's a lot to unpack here in your chart, but just note that there is an area of concentrated energy somewhere in your chart in one of the houses. And where that is for you is going to be that intense city. Okay, the energy is intense. You could have arguments about different things depending on where it is, because Aries and Mars, okay, they take action first and think later. Okay, so they can be impulsive. So just beware of any impulsivity that you may have. Try to think about it before you know, put it out there, because during this time, what you put out, you can't take back. That's the thing. But this is all about growth, okay? Maturity, all right? So just so you know, this is happening for you and not just to you, okay? And we all are experiencing this simultaneously. It just depends on where this stellium is in your chart, okay? So let's get going and talk about the rising signs and where this stellium is going to be in your chart, all right? See you on the other side. Hello, beautiful Libra risings out there, my collectives. Welcome to my channel first. And this is your monthly forecast for April 2026. Now, I want to say I've recorded you already once before. My audio went out on me, and I had to tried to patch it in. That didn't work, so I'm having to start over with your forecast again. Now, we do have a full moon in your sign, Libra rising, okay? And we also have all of the planets moving in forward motion, which means that things in our lives are accelerating, okay? And we have a stellium of planets in your opposite sign of Aries, which is going to be bringing intense energy because it's going to be Neptune, Saturn, Mercury, and Mars. And Mars will be in Aries, its ruler. I mean, Mars rules Aries. So this month is going to be hot and turbulent. So, because this is Aries energy and Aries rules the head, it rules the heat, and it is impulsive, reactive. So this is a time where you need to put on your maturity cap and think before you leap into anything. Because Aries and Mars, Mars is that warrior and he's ready to take action. But we have Saturn here, which is going to temper that Aryan energy somewhat. So try not to resist, okay? You might get impatient. You may feel, uncomfortable because you cannot follow through like you normally would. So let's get into your forecast. And on the very first day of April, Libra rising, we have that full moon in Libra, and it's going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And this will be happening in your first house of self, how you present yourself, how you look, how you feel, how you talk, and how you think as well. And this is also the house where others, how they view you, okay? And then this square is a push and pull energy, trying to help us grow, with Jupiter. And Jupiter is expansive, wherever it is, it's going to overextend. And it's in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, where, your emotions, your feelings, sensitivity, comes into play, your private life as well. So this is happening in your 10th house of public reputation, your career, your authority figures, and your co-workers as well. So here, you may feel more aware of how others see you, more sensitive to feedback, or pulled to adjust your image, your habits, or your boundaries. Okay? You may need to make a choice or reach closure around personal issues. Your feelings are more likely to show on your face, in your tone, or in your behavior, because this is all about the self, okay? So on the 3rd, we have Venus in Taurus, and this is squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Venus in Taurus is going to be in your 8th house of transformation, power, and control, shared resources, other people's money, psychological energy, hidden things, also psychic energy as well, banking, loans, debts. Let's see. Did I miss anything? There's a whole lot going on with this 8th house. So, I think I covered the major pieces of it. So this is another square, which has that push and pull energy here. And this is Pluto. And Pluto belongs to that 8th house energy, transformation, power and control energy. And it is really a deep diving energy, similar to Neptune being deeply spiritual. This Plutonian energy is, it can be destructive, okay? but it's in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is about the collective, the freedom, the power to the people, and also being authentic. All right, and this is happening in your fifth house of joy, of hobbies, uh, romance, childlike play, and children as well, and taking risk. Okay, so you may feel drawn to someone or something with unusual force. That's kind of Pluto's energy. Hidden motives, resistance, or power struggles underneath the attraction. You may experience a financial or emotional wake up call that forces a more honest relationship with dependency, control, and desire. This transit calls for truth telling, boundary setting, and cleaning up messy agreements rather than forcing closeness or making impulsive moves. Okay? So these squares are about growth, okay? April 5th, we have the sun in Aries square Jupiter in Cancer. All right. So this is happening in your seventh house of one-on-one relationships, partnerships, business partners, legal contracts, open enemies, which are about, old relationships, and family and friends can fall in this seventh house as well. All right, and then it's going to be squaring Jupiter in Cancer again in your 10th house of public reputation and authority figures, your career. You may experience impulsive decisions in relationships that may undermine your career stability. Okay, generosity might lead to overlooked details or emotional burnout. Okay, so try not to overextend yourself too much, okay, because you have Jupiter here in your 10th, squaring in the 10th house, and that can be an you know, overextend yourself to others in that space. All right, so we're going to go to the ninth, and this is Mars moving into Aries. And as I said before, Mars rules Aries, and this is happening in your seventh house of relationships as well. So this aspect increases your desire to act in your relationships. Remember, Mars is about action. You may start new relationships, renegotiate terms in existing relationships, or push for more equality and clarity in your relationships. You are more direct about your needs, which may feel refreshing, but may come across as aggressive because Mars and Aries are aggressive, okay? And they just can't help themselves. So on the 12th, we have Mars in Aries conjunct Neptune. Excuse me. And this is happening in your seventh house as well. Now, Neptune is a deeply spiritual planet, and it's caring, and it wants to heal people. Excuse me. It is also a very creative energy. People who have strong Neptune in their charts may be singers, musicians of all kinds. So there's a lot of creativity with this Neptune energy. However, Neptune is a boundless energy. So you have to be aware of setting your boundaries. Neptune is also like false evidence appearing real. So you think something is one thing, but after the fog rolls out, it wasn't what it seemed. So you have to be careful when Neptune is at play or activated, because it can create delusions and those rose colored glasses, as we have said from time to time. Okay, so during this time, avoid confrontations. Arguments may stem from projections, okay, rather than the facts. You may be physically clumsy or vulnerable to manipulation. Well, the vulnerability to manipulations, you know, may arise. Avoid risky joint ventures or big commitments based on intuition. Your energy drains easily. You may worry more or find ways to escape rather than to escape rational power struggles. Okay, you can channel this energy into healing activities like yoga or charity with others, charity work with others. And you can also channel this energy through any type of creative processes. Okay, so on the 16th, we have Mars in Aries conjunct Saturn, and this is in your seventh house too. So what I was saying earlier about Mars stellium, this will be happening in your house of relationships. So, how you come across to other people can create some type of problem, and it's urged that you be careful about how you come across to others, communicate to others, respond to others, react to others, because what you put out there, you may not be able to correct it. Okay? So, let's see. During this transit, you may feel more driven to fix or redefine a relationship, but your actions may be constrained by fear of failure, and that's Saturn's energy, rejection, or real life responsibilities such as money, family, or legal ties. All right? So Saturn is here to keep you grounded and aware of what is happening in reality. Okay? But of course, you have Neptune there too, trying to take you into some false evidence appearing real situation. All right, so on the 17th, this is where the activation of the stellium begins, and this is with the new moon in Aries at 27 degrees, happening at 4:51 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And again, this is happening in your seventh house because it is in the sign of Aries. This is a time to set your intentions on collaborative partnerships or recommitting to a spouse with renewed passion. Your intuitive instinct highlights where you have compromised your authenticity, okay, and your leadership abilities too much. So you got to regroup here and set your intentions with this new moon. And as I said, the activation of Neptune, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn forming this powerful stellium in Aries is intense and hot. So, woo, on the 20th, wow, the sun moves into Taurus, and that relieves us from this Aries tension that we are experiencing with this stellium here. And this is happening on in your eighth house. And the eighth house is about transformation, death, power and control, shared resources, other people's money, banking, taxes, psychological issues. Psychic energy is also related to this eighth house. So look at your shared resources like investments, debts, with the practical eye and avoid rush decisions. Release old grudges or power and control struggles as well. So on the 25th, on the 23rd, we have Venus in Taurus conjuncting Uranus in the eighth house. And Uranus is about sudden changes out of nowhere. It's an electric energy, so it happens really fast, and it shifts things in ways we never expected. And this can go along, good or not. So Uranus is here to change us in a swift way for our higher development. Okay, so you may experience a sudden shift in how you handle shared money, investments, or inheritances. A new level of honesty, a sudden attraction, or a breakup that comes out of the blue, especially if something has been emotionally stagnant in the first place. Okay? So the 25th, we have the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius, and this is happening in your sixth house. The Sun is in Taurus in your sixth house of your daily routine, your health, your work, and your workplace, and being of service. Okay, and service animals as well. So the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto, and we know Pluto is in your fifth house of joy, hobbies, and it's a controlling energy. And of course, Aquarius is freedom and authenticity. So you may experience power struggles or creative pursuits may surface, demanding release of control. Confronting your hobbies. No, confronting your hidden fears around loss may transform your financial or intimate sensitivities. All right? So we're going to move on to the last thing of the month for me to express to you is Uranus moving into Gemini for the next 7 years. Hey, it's moving out of Taurus and now it's into Gemini, air energy, okay? And again, Uranus is about sudden changes, okay? Things that happen out of the blue that we don't expect. And this is happening in your ninth house of belief systems, your religion, your spirituality, your higher education or learning, long distance travel, other cultures, other languages, philosophy, publishing, and teaching. Okay, so you may experience sudden worldview changes, such as adopting radical beliefs of spiritual awakenings. You may explore online courses or non-traditional studies. You may take unexpected trips or cultural immersions that expand your horizon. Now that's all a plus for you with this change in your ninth house because it definitely honors growth, okay? And change in your mindset, and Libra Rising, I must say, this is your monthly forecast for April 2026. And until next time, bye for now.